It's a bit of a cliche, isn't it? But people often say that if the car's beautiful enough, you could sit in your garage or in your garden and just look at it, like a garden ornament, like a statue, like a work of art. But in the case of the 406 Coupe, I reckon it's true. I'm actually sat in the barn in one of the old Corrado seats that have been ripped out to make way for some leather seats. And they are really comfortable seats actually. But I've just been contemplating this video, which has been planned for 2 weeks, but the weather's been terrible and work's got in the way, so it's kind of fallen by the wayside. But I just sort of sat here setting up the machine and thinking, bloody hell, it really is drop dead gorgeous, isn't it? And I think I said on Twitter at Major Gav the other day to somebody that you don't really appreciate how beautiful this car is until you see it in the metal, until you get up close to it, until you appreciate its curves, its haunches, its subtle details, and its absolute elegance. Because there's not all. Here's the thing: compare it to cars of today. You know, with ridiculous creases all over the place, unwelcome lines, strange, aggressive daytime running lights, all this stuff that gets put on cars these days. And yet this, I mean, bloody hell, it is without doubt the best looking car I've ever bought, and arguably I still maintain one of the best looking French cars ever made, and surely in Pininfarina's top 10. And when you look at what Pininfarina have designed over the years, the Hyundai Matrix for example, you know, that's quite a story. I wanted to do this introduction video before I did any work on the car whatsoever, so I wanted to show you the as discovered condition before I do any cleaning, any fettling, any mechanical upgrades, anything it needs doing to get this car through an MOT. So it's as much a voyage of discovery for me as it is for you. So anything could happen. As usual, it's unscripted, and there's absolutely no talent or budget being spent here today. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. The fire exit is over there, and if you hear any sounds, it's either going to be the goats or the swallows, which has taken up residence in the barn. And I don't know if you can see on the roof of the Corrado, there's a line of swallow poo. There's one just coming in now. Thanks swallow poo, thanks swallows. So we're going to walk around this car as it stands. So for the benefit of people who don't follow me on Twitter at Major Gav or follow the blog at PetroBlog.com, this is a Rescue 406 Coupe V6 discovered on the Devon-Somerset border 2 weeks ago on a cycle ride. And cut a long story short, within 48 hours, less than that, within 36 hours, it had been removed from its resting place and transplanted here on the back of a low loader. And here's a picture of the low loader. And just to let you know that as soon as it came off the low loader, it decided to die. There's a battery fault. It tells me as such on the readout inside, which I'll show you later, but there is a battery fault, probably one of many faults. But so I wanted to show you as it stands at the moment. And one thing you automatically notice here, there's definitely an issue there. I'm not too concerned about that, to be honest. That's the least of the car's problems at the moment. But if you sweep across here, there's a lot of grime. The flying buttresses, or the flying butt cheeks as my son calls them, amusingly. I've got a lot of grime in them. It's going to take some drain rods to clear those out. She's been sat, she's been sat for 2 years, without doubt. Last MOT was actually in 2016. So let's say she ran for another year after that, so 2 years. And unfortunately, the owner died last September. So it's not your typical, the car went wrong and was dumped in a garden situation. I believe, and the history would suggest, that this car was really, really well cared for, certainly mechanically. I've got lots of 4-figure bills, all Peugeot main dealer over the years. This car is wanted for nothing mechanically. And it's little things like having a full set of Michelin tyres all round, which are virtually as new. They give you encouragement that actually somebody really cared for this car. And I know the 83-year-old gentleman who owned it was a bit of a petrol head, and drove it like, I'm going to say drove it like he stole it, but that's a bit unfair. He drove it like it should be driven, and didn't stand for dawdlers in North Devon. So you'll see there's a lot of vegetation, a lot of grime on the bodywork all the way along. The rear bumper I haven't even explored yet, but it looks like there's a scratch there. So I think when we start whipping off the grime, it's gonna sort of show lots of sort of minor cosmetic issues that are going to need sorting over the years. But I'm not too concerned about that. I mean, a lot of water damage in the badge, stroke holder, and you'll see from the exhaust, a lot of surface rust on the chrome, on the tailpipe there. But actually the exhaust itself is reasonably new. So yeah, it's going to need a wire brush in lots of parts underneath. But you know, when you're rescuing a car, you're not expecting perfection. This is not a concours winning car. You know, it's on a fair few miles. So, but it just needs bringing back. It needs the love and respect that the elderly gentleman would have appreciated. Because that's ultimately what this is all about now. This is about restoring this car to former glory in his memory, really. You'll see that, I don't know if you can see that, but it's clearly had an incident here. So again, not too concerned about that. There's a lot of mud in there. There's a lot of mud inside the arch. That's either going to protect, well, nah, it's going to be all right. Pinning Farina badge. I mean, it does look like it's been dragged from a lake. Trust me, it hasn't. I mean, this side was the side within the conifer trees. This was the side that was parted against the hedge. So it was kind of really tight in. You could only barely get into the car from this side. Whereas this side has been exposed to the elements. So it's given it a sort of a weekly, if not daily wash. But there's absolutely no wax on that at all, so it's going to need to come up. Those cat prints weren't there when I bought it, so that's my cat. Thank you, cat. Scrolling down the side. The wheels are actually in reasonably good condition. As I say, the tyres are all pretty new. My only concern, I guess, is they may have been flat spotted, but I think this car, right up until the gentleman's death, there was moved sort of, certainly not, if not weekly. There's a bit of crack in there actually. So we'll have to see about those. There'll be enough to get through the MOT, that's for certain. Then we'll make a decision after that. But that's the key at the moment, is to get a ticket on it. Down the sills. I know the sills are a weak spot on these, from the limited research that I did. Brembo brakes on the V6. I mean, it's going to need a V6. It's going to need a brake overhaul. We know that. So that is surface rust, and actually, I've gone down the sills, and they're all solid. So I think, again, touching wood, they're going to be salvageable. The worst problem, I think, cosmetically at least, is the front bumper. In the research that I did, they said body panels are fine. Just make sure that the front bumper is in good condition. This one isn't. This is the result of a pheasant. I have no idea how well the pheasant did out of this, but I'm guessing he didn't live to live another day. Live to live another day? Live to fight another day. And yeah, some bit of mesh. Gives a kind of an old 1930s Le Mans racer, or some sort of racing car. Mesh down the bottom there. It's authentic. It's original. And yeah, down here, it's looking a bit worse for wear. So, and it's just lost its towing cover as well. No yellow fogs yet. Not really a priority right now. So, that's not her best angle. But well, we'll say, even in that condition, she looks stunning. I mean, there isn't a bad angle on this car, and you can't say that about many cars. One thing I didn't appreciate until I bought this car is the way this kind of curves down here. It's very much a Pininfarina signature. I'll say the buttresses at the back look stunning. On the back you've got a set of JBL speakers, because it's got the JBL upgraded stereo, which I think was standard on the top of the range V6. I haven't taken it down the other side yet, have I? Let's come around the other side again. The wheels are in good nick. Lights are going to need a bit of work. Weirdly, that light's in cleaner. Well, I guess that's a symptom of the fact that this one's in the hedge. So, no hedge. And we're going to need a hedge fund to get this back on the road. Excuse me, terrible pun. Bit of car park issues going on there. This isn't sitting in the right position. I think I can probably repair that. Less wheels. It's probably the worst wheel on the car. More rust down there. Again, it is cosmetic at this moment, he says optimistically, but I think I can get that back. Coming down the side of the car, a bit more mould, sorry, moss, vegetation, and then Pininfarina badge, coming down the rear arches, down to the back. We used to have mud flaps. They were, I mean, I haven't got the cost to hand, but they were a ridiculously costly option when this car was new. I can't remember the exact price. For some reason, 400 quid seems to come to mind, but they've gone. They were expensive. Well, the story goes that the gentleman came into some money in 1999. So he went down to the Peugeot dealer in Kent, Sidcup in Kent, and said to them, I want the best Peugeot 406 I can buy, but I don't want any dealer stickers or any dealer number plates on it because I don't want to advertise your business. So it hasn't got the original dealer plates or stickers, annoyingly, but I quite like the story that goes with it. The only thing you would know, the only reason you would know it came from Sidcup is it's got the original keyring, which hasn't been used, surprisingly, because he didn't want to even use that to promote his business. Okay, we'll go into the boot. Which opens, which is good. Any light in there? I'm guessing there should be. Oh, there is a light in there. There we go. Just about to see the light. That works. He always kept a spare wiper blade apparently in his car, so I have a spare wiper blade, which is good. Spare wheel, original spare wheel. There's no damp in there. There's no water in there. However, I have noticed. I don't know if I can see it now, but the drain plug in the spare wheel well is rusted. So I'm going to need to source one of those. Again, relatively minor compared in relation to what could need to be done to get this car back on the road. As I say, it wasn't dumped because there was a problem. I mean, there was money being spent on this car up until a month before the gentleman died, unfortunately for him. It's a bit of a sad story, really sad story. So it wasn't dumped because there was an issue, put it that way. So that gives me hope. Although, obviously, timeless standing doesn't tend to be good to cars. He says, looking at the Corrado in the corner. Oops. Right, let's venture inside, shall we? You almost need gloves to get in at the moment. Frameless windows and doors. Lovely feature. Pininfarina had to get that right. And it's a bit like a BMW, it goes up and down when you open the car to seal up properly. Peugeot side seals. Now, I've done nothing inside. I haven't even started exploring the car inside yet. Just make sure I've got the key to hand. I have. A bit of wear on the steering wheel. Not the end of the world. I mean, people can criticise the interior for being a bit plain when it was new. Oh, that's terrible, isn't it, that light? That's really bad, sorry. But I quite like the interior, because I like this era of interiors anyway. So it had the Clarion radio cassette, CD auto changer, climate control. It's got the automatic box. I don't know if the heated seats work. We'll find out in due course. It's got cruise control. What else? It's got front fogs, obviously, it says that already. Electric windows at the front, manual pop-out windows in the back, which I'll show you in a bit. He chose black leather, which wouldn't have been my first choice. I quite like the tan or the red, but yeah, it looks okay with black. Got a handbook and a air freshener in there. Little Pininfarina badge on there. That's the battery bracket. The battery at the moment is so I took it out to recharge, give it a proper recharge. Haven't put the bracket back on yet because I figured that it will need to come off again at some point. It's got an auto dimming rear view mirror, which I was quite surprised at. I wouldn't have thought that would have been an option on the car back at the turn of the millennium, but it is, so that's good. Jump into the back now. This is quite a neat touch. When you bring the seats forward, they automatically electrically slide forward to let you get in. It is ridiculously slow, so you'll need another shave by the time it's gone forward, but it still works, which is good. So that's now gone all the way forward. You can see that my cat managed to get into the back seat as well, which is irritating. Oh, that's not good. So there is enough room in the back for 4 adults, which you don't always get. Eat your heart out, Porsche 911, but this is a fair bit of legroom in the back there, and actually really comfortable as well. I mean, there isn't a huge amount of headroom. Oh, just noticed that the high level brake light cover is cool. The high level brake light is High level brake light isn't looking... Okay, there's an issue there. We'll have to sort that out. Good fun. We've got JBL stickers on the back. What's this? Is it a little storage unit in the boot? That's quite clever. You go down a long way, but there's enough room there to get in there. Put your smartphone in there. It's probably the worst place to put a smartphone if you're using it. Okay, so we've got a centre rest, ski hatch for those times that we obviously will be going skiing in our 406 Coupe. And I believe, yep, another little storage unit and a really shallow cup holder. Again, that's a neat touch. But yeah, it's really comfortable in the back, really comfortable. Not a huge amount of headroom, but yeah, you can spend some time in here. It's no worse than the rear seats of a 7-seat SUV. Okay, so we'll fire her up. I don't want to do too much in the way of firing up because A, the fuel's old, B, it's been a while since she was serviced, and you know, I don't know what's lurking beneath that needs to be fixed, but we'll fire her up because it does make a lovely noise. The fact she moves at all is a bonus. There we go, the battery charge full. So that's going to need to be sorted out. It does make a lovely sound. So now you can see her in all her glory, out in the open, out in the wild. And as I say, even in this condition, she looks stunning. It is a stunning piece of design. There's the goats right on cue. They like it as well, which is always a bonus. Apologise for the sniffing. Hay fever is atrocious this weekend. One of the worst things about the summer. Wasps and hay fever. And horseflies. Anyone who says that wasps are worse than horseflies needs their head seen to. Because horseflies are silent. And anytime you know they're killing you is when they finish biting you. And it's agony. Whereas at least wasps, they warn you they're coming. That's a bit of a side talking. I'm actually looking forward to the cosmetics. I'm not looking forward to all the unknowns, of which there's bound to be many. But what a beautiful car. Absolutely stunning. So what's the plan? Well, I've done the introductory video, so you've seen what she's like in a just discovered state. So the next stage will be to clean her, wash her, bring her back to looking respectable, even though she looks respectable as she is, I've got no doubt about that. And then I'm tempted just to chuck her in for an MOT just to see what I'm facing. It's clearly going to need some work. I want to make sure I can do all the bits that, well, the obvious bits, make sure the tyres are okay, make sure the light's working, you know, all the wipers, anything that's obvious, I'll get that sorted beforehand. But I don't want to spend any money really until I know the extent of what needs to be spent, as it were, because I haven't got a bottomless pit on this car. This wasn't part of the planning, this wasn't part of the budget. The money I'm going to spend on this would have been spent on probably the ZX. So yeah. Target, I guess, is to get this on the road for less than £1,000, all in, including the nominal price that I paid to bring this home. That will be a result, I think, and I think she's worth every penny. Clearly there's not a bottomless pit available for her. There are other mouths on the fleet that need feeding. There are other Hot Wheels that need buying. I've actually stopped buying Hot Wheels now, because actually I think spending money on real cars is much more entertaining. And yeah, so no more Hot Wheels. Am I mad? Am I stupid? Am I foolish? Answer on the postcard to the usual address, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I've got to say that. Apparently it's contractually important to say like and subscribe at the end of every video. Welcome to the 406 Coupe.